Jesus drew near to the two disciples on the road to Emmaus, but their eyes were prevented from recognizing him. The story doesn't tell us exactly what prevented these two disciples from recognizing the risen Jesus right at their side. Was it something about him? Or was it something about them? Certainly their minds and hearts, their thoughts and emotions were consumed with all that had happened in the last few days, all that had been reported to them, the arrest of Jesus by the Roman guards, his appearance before Pontius Pilate, the governor, the suffering he endured, his death on a cross, his burial, and now the amazing report that some women visited the tomb that morning and Jesus had risen from the dead. Now, Jesus, risen, is walking with two of his disciples, but their eyes are prevented from recognizing him. Were they so preoccupied, so overwhelmed by grief and confusion that they didn't recognize their old friend? Did God, of his own design and purpose, choose to let them walk in the mystery, in the darkness, just a little bit longer? Or was it simply that they never expected to see Jesus again, even though they had heard the report that he had risen from the dead? Here's a fun fact. You and I have heard the same report. All of us, haven't we? The report that Jesus, who was crucified and buried, rose from the dead. We've been told exactly what these two disciples on the road to Emmaus had been told, and yet we too often fail to recognize Jesus even when he's walking right by our side. What prevents you and me from seeing Jesus? What prevents our eyes from recognizing him? Certainly, there are times when my problems and my worries and my fears consume so much of my energy and attention that I might miss Jesus at my side even as I'm praying for him to be with me. Or perhaps it's anger or hurt or disappointment that blur my vision and blind me, such that I fail to recognize Jesus as he draws close to me with peace, with healing, and with hope. Or it could be that I just don't pay that much attention to the Lord. I don't look for him in prayer each day. I don't try to keep my heart, my eyes, and my ears open to his presence, open to his walking by my side. There are so many things in my life that might prevent my eyes from recognizing Jesus. Things like my prejudices, the ones I admit to others, and especially the ones I find difficult to admit to myself. Or my stubbornness might prevent me from listening to Jesus. My resistance to looking at things in a new way. My refusal to change my mind in spite of what I see and hear, in spite of what's reported to me by reliable witnesses. My politics might prevent me from seeing Jesus, insofar as my political stance trains my vision to see some things, but not others. Or perhaps it's my unwillingness to even desire to face the reality of Jesus in my life and the change of heart it would take for me to see Jesus in people I don't like, in people I don't love, in people I exclude. To welcome Jesus even at the expense of my own comfort. I might blind myself to Jesus at my side because to acknowledge his presence would require me to change my thoughts and my ways so significantly that others might think me impractical, foolish, crazy, too holy on account of what I claim to see, to believe, and to hold as the truth. To truly recognize Jesus at my side and choose to walk with him will change and shape my politics and my preferences, the decisions and choices I make, the stands I take, whom I recognize and name as brother, sister, family, neighbor, and how I welcome them into my life and share with them what I have. There are so many things, so many situations, so many reasons that prevent our eyes from recognizing, from seeing Jesus right by our side. But the truth is, the risen Christ never leaves my side or yours. The truth is, there's not a step we take that the Lord Jesus doesn't walk that step with us. The truth is, there's not a moment of any day or night when he's not right beside us, behind us, just ahead of us. And still we fail to see him. The risen Jesus asked the disciples on the road to Emmaus, "What are you discussing? What are you talking about? What's on your mind? What's in your heart this morning?" He asks you and me the same questions. He wants to know our story. And often enough, our story, like that of the two disciples, is a story of faith, disappointment, confusion, and hope. Jesus wants to be part of our story, on our good days and our bad days, through all our ups and downs, in our joys and in our sorrows. Is there anything this morning in your story, anything this morning in my story, that is preventing us from recognizing Jesus right by our side? How long has it been since I've prayed, since I've told the Lord my story and asked him to be part of it? How long has it been since I asked the Lord, as did the two disciples in the story, how long has it been since I asked Jesus, please don't leave me, stay with me, be the Lord of my life? It's only when the two disciples break bread with Jesus that their eyes are opened and they recognize him. Well, guess what? We just found Emmaus. We're here. We're here this morning to do just that, to share in the breaking of bread, as Jesus told us to do at his Last Supper on the night before he suffered and died. Being here on the Lord's Day is walking the road to Emmaus. Even if in the past week our eyes have been prevented from recognizing him and our hearts have failed to see Jesus by our side, here at the Lord's table, the Lord draws near and reveals and shares himself at this altar in the breaking of bread. Every time we celebrate the Eucharist, we break and share the bread of life, and in receiving communion, we're invited to recognize Jesus, who gives himself to us this morning as once he did on the cross, only now in the sacrifice and the sacrament of the altar. He gives himself to us in this way precisely to open the eyes of our hearts to the wisdom and the challenge of his word, that his truth might change our lives, that we might begin to break ourselves open like loaves of bread to share and feed with our neighbor, our brothers and sisters in the risen Jesus, whomever we might meet and wherever we might meet them on our journey to Emmaus.